Welcome to our webinar on how to use growth maps to increase profits and lower risk for real estate investments. I'm Ross Quintana with Growth Maps. Today we're going to learn how to use our real-time data visualization tool, Growth Maps, to make more informed investment decisions. Growth Maps is one of the most advanced tools for analyzing and crunching a large variety of economic factors that affect real estate investments for you and your clients. No more using generic yearly economic data. Now you can have up-to-date information that's visualized down to the very specific areas on the fly as you add and remove economic factors that you and your clients care about. Imagine having a handful of potential properties that you and your client would love to invest in, but you want to know which ones have more potential upside for growth and which ones don't. That's exactly what Growth Maps can do for you. Maybe you have clients investing from out of town. Now you can share that data with them to help them feel more confident in their investment decisions. Or maybe you're investing in multiple cities across multiple states and you want to have the peace of mind that you've done your due diligence and that you have the data to back up your investment decision. Maximizing the potential for growth is key in getting higher returns on investment. You no longer have to go with your gut, you can go with the data. Be your client's superhero with Growth Maps. Establish yourself as an expert in your area and dominate your competition, or simply make smarter investment decisions for yourself and your investment portfolio. Growth Maps is visually based, so you don't have to be a data scientist to figure it out or to use it to make smarter investment decisions. We took all of the complex variables that can impact the growth potential of a real estate investment and then converted it into a growth map that anyone can use to see what's going on in a particular area. Find out at a glance the areas that are less likely to grow and those that have the most favorable factors for growth. You can do it all with Growth Maps, and it's fast and easy. Don't invest in real estate without it. So why is Growth Maps better than the current tools that investors and real estate brokers use? Sales data from a local MLS is really a poor man's market data. The problem is that what you're looking at is what already happened. You're looking at an area or a neighborhood and saying, well, here's the type of growth that it's had over a specific period of time based on just sales data. The problem is that you don't know what's driving that growth. The economic factors that are underneath there can quickly change and shift and totally send your investment in the wrong direction. Because you have to focus on the economic factors, not just the sales data of what happened. And you're not going to get that market data from your MLS. Tuning into those changes is how real estate investors can actually take advantage of the potential shifts. This is how they can position themselves and time their investments. It's all about making the proper choices at the right time. If you want to get a bigger ROI, you have to be able to predict what's going to happen in the future with your investments. You don't want to just react to what's happened before and think that it's automatically going to keep happening, because those economic factors can change whether or not that trend is going to continue or it's going to shift. And it's in those shifts and those patterns and understanding that you can start to make even better investment choices. Once you understand the difference between market data and sales data, and you realize that you need market data to really make better and stronger predictions of future outcomes, then the problem is, where are you going to find it? For most people, they can only find data once a year. Maybe a real estate brokerage has a forum or something where they talk about the economic factors and the yearly data that they've gotten. The problem is that just doesn't really help investment decisions. Yearly data is not going to be enough to really impact and help you predict. You need that data to be localized. You need that data to be more update than just yearly generic demographic and economic data. And so this is where we're going to start talking about the next section, which is data quality. Next, we're going to talk about data quality. So data quality is absolutely essential for a real estate investor, because the type of yearly generic demographic and economic data that comes out that's available to agents now is just not useful enough. The fact is that you need to get that data, and it needs to be scrubbed. It needs to be very specific. It needs to be relevant and useful and timely and from multiple sources so that you can really pinpoint the data, the factors that are going to drive those shifts, and you need to be able to do that in comparison to the particular investments that you're making. So data that comes for other areas or general data for the whole city doesn't mean that that's going to impact the very specific investment you're looking at making. So data quality is essential. And for most agents, if they went out and they tried to accumulate all of these independent sources of data, the fact is, getting a holistic view, it would be very difficult. It's not data that's available generally to the public, and even the data that is available is very expensive if you were going to source it out and try and pay for data that some of these very large companies use and financial institutions in order to look at their economic factors in affecting their investments. Next, let's talk about data age. This is a key factor because even in the same way that appraisers and banks won't use outdated data, because the fact is they know that what happened 2 years ago isn't the same thing that happened 6 months ago. And they know that the economic factors were different during that time, and the holistic view of risk and economic factors shifts and changes. They're not willing to take that risk when they're trying to determine whether or not they should give loans, and yet at the same time you have real estate agents and investors who are not taking those things into consideration when they're making important risk and investment decisions. So the fact is that you need to find data that's more up to date. You can't go off something that was a year ago and now is already, you're 8 months into the year and you're looking at really generic data that was from 8 months ago. So Growth Maps allows you to be able to get current data and information that's very specific so that it can help you make better investment decisions. Next, we're going to talk about data localization. So data localization is a key factor because, again, your particular investments are affected by different local and sublocal kind of factors that are going to impact that, and you need to know what those are. And Growth Maps allows you on the fly to zoom in and zoom out to see what different factors are affecting that particular area where you're looking to place that investment. So if you want to get granular, you can absolutely get granular with Growth Maps to find out how are these things affecting your particular investment. Next, we're going to talk about data combinations. One of the things that you have to consider is how does this different data relate and how does it change the outcome and the prediction of whether or not there'll be growth in an area when you start to combine different factors. So you may see and take into account just one or two factors, but with Growth Maps, you can go ahead and add factors and remove factors and see in real time the visualization of how that affects your potential growth and risk. Now, I mentioned data visualization, and that's really the final piece because it's being able to see this visually that really helps you understand how do all of these things play out. You need to be able to not only have all of this data, this complex data, but you need to have it in a format that is easy to understand so that you can literally see on one of our growth maps, areas might be turning red or they're yellow or they might turn green. And as you change those factors, part of the process of changing those different combinations and then visualizing that is what helps you to get an understanding of those things so that you can start to weigh out what factors you think really matter for you or your clients in that potential investment in that particular area. Let's just see what the experts are saying about growth maps. We've talked a lot about it and we've told you what it does and how it does and why it's important to understand the way that it works. But let's talk about the experts and see what they say. James Kilpatrick, president of NAI California, says that Growth Maps provides some unique insights and has a huge potential to roll out helpful technologies going forward. Nathan D. George, PhD candidate of Haas Berkeley Real Estate, says that Growth Maps has broken the code to access core missing real estate data information based on the data that's not available to businesses today. Keith M. Tomau, investment banking professional, says, I'm very interested in Growth Maps to help properly assess local market portfolio risk and have an edge in lending. Growth Maps is like no other software available today. T. Harv Eker, New York Times best-selling author and founder of Peak Potentials, says Growth Maps' new real estate technology is the next giant step in new technology to helping investors profit in the 21st century and beyond. Next, we're going to talk about how it works. We're going to give you a little test drive of Growth Maps so you can see it in action. Every analysis you want to conduct really comes down to 3 simple steps. Step 1 is to type in the address or zip code and render the default data map that instantly displays the growth rate by zip code. Now you can change your search radius. You can also change the boundary level. Then you can select the forecast, which has a back-tested accuracy of plus or 2%. You can select the variables or combinations of weighted variables that are most important to you and your clients, and Growth Maps will instantly filter the data to show you the top local markets. Step 2. Once it filters the data, then you simply click on a color or submarket. The quick graph shows the last 12 months growth rate. Step 3. Generate your own custom report. Imagine having all this growth data at your fingertips and available in real time. That's powerful, and that's the power of Growth Maps. At this point, you're probably wondering how you can gain instant access to Growth Maps and how much it's going to cost to have all this powerful breakthrough technology. And I'm going to get to that in a minute. But before we get to that, I want to share just a little bit about the man behind this game-changing technology. And that's the founder and CEO of Growth Maps, Eddie Gottschalk. One of the things about Eddie is that he perfectly bridges that gap between real estate investor and data scientist. Now, most of you guys don't want to necessarily be a data scientist, but you definitely want to be a real estate investor. What's great about Growth Maps is that Eddie has taken his experience of literally earning and losing millions of dollars in real estate investing. And he saw a problem because he wanted to solve that problem with data. And he felt that that was going to be the way that he could solve this problem, and not only solve it for himself to help hedge the risk of his investments and increase the upside potential for his ROI, but he also wanted to create a tool that was accessible to the average investor. You know, the big companies, they've had access to this type of data science and technology, and they've got software and teams of people and huge budgets to be able to make this happen. But the average investor just hasn't had that. And so Eddie put together this software. Now, a couple things about Eddie is he's bought and sold over 40 properties and been licensed in 4 states. He's built AVMs during graduate school and FVMs, which are future value models, according to Block Group 36 forecasting models. He's also built the only dynamic data visualization technology for the browser available on today, which is the product that you're looking at, Growth Maps. He's got a strong passion to help others make better real estate investments and to harness the power of data and new technology. So let's talk about price. So to access all of this information, get the visualization, get all of the things that you need to increase your ROI and make better investments, you can get all of that and access to Growth Maps starting at just $997 a year. That gives you complete access to a metro area so that you can get your single variable reports every month. You can use those to make smarter investments. And if you need access across an entire state, we have a solution for you there as well. The cost for that is yearly $2,997, and that'll give you not only the single variable reports, but you'll also get multivariable reports across an entire state. Now, let's say that your investment strategy takes you in a more broader scale and you need a solution for the entire US. We have a solution for you there too. The access for that is $24,997 a year, and that gives you not only the single variable reports, it gives you multivariable reports and also 36-month reports that will help you make smarter investment decisions and do your analysis across the entire US. These annual prices save you money. We also have monthly prices if you need monthly pricing, but you'll definitely save some money, a substantial chunk, if you do the annual pricing. If you're ready to get started putting the power of growth maps to work for you to increase your ROI and make stronger and more predictive investments, then get started by clicking the button right now. Now, for those of you guys who might be on the fence or you're thinking about it, we've got a little bonus for the people who are here today who've taken the time and invested that time to learn about growth maps. For the first 20 people only, they're going to receive right now the top 10 markets in the USA. That's a $6,000 value for the people who are ready to get started. We want to reward the people who love this product as much as we do. We know it's going to make a huge impact in your investment strategy, and we're putting that bonus out there for you. So click the button and get started with Growth Maps today. The value of this technology is worth over $500,000, and it's taken a long time to develop. So the fact is that this bonus is going to give you even more value on top of what's already a really impressive product. Now, here's the guarantee that we'll give you. If you're not sure if this is going to work for you or you just want to give it a try, then get started today. We have a 14-day money-back guarantee. So you have nothing to risk. If you sign up today, if you want to increase your investments and start making better decisions and have better market data instead of sales data, then get started today. This value right here, you're going to be able to plug in, check out the system, learn it, see how it works, see how you can change the variable. You're going to be able to do all of that with a 14-day risk-free guarantee. If you don't like it, if you don't see that it's going to increase the value of your portfolios and help you make more money, then you simply can email us back and we're happy to give you a refund. There's absolutely zero risk. There's unlimited upside potential. Just go to the URL or call us at the number below and get started with Growth Maps today. Isn't it time that you modernize the way that you analyze investment opportunities? See, the fact is the world is changing. As Clive Humbly first said, data is the new oil. It's valuable, but if unrefined, it can't be really used for anything. Businesses in every sector are being transformed by data, and the financial industry leads the way because it's proven that data, when refined, can make a huge impact on your investment strategy. It's a competitive marketplace, and being an early adopter to technology can be the difference maker. When you want to thrive in this data-driven environment, then you don't want to be left behind using yesterday's way of doing business. Growth Maps is the future, and it's a data-driven future. We hope that you've enjoyed this presentation. We appreciate your time. We're excited to see the results and hear the feedback from all of you guys that are purchasing Growth Maps today. And we look forward to talking to you. Thank you for spending your time here. This concludes this portion of the webinar, and you can visit our pricing page if you want to find the package that's perfect for you. I know that we mentioned some of them. Thanks for taking the time to invest in your future with Growth Maps.